My name is Scott Gale. I am from Orange County, and my occupation is a real estate developer. So I heard about Soltara doing research in preparation to come down to a place in Costa Rica to do a ceremony. I was not sure what was most important to me or where I wanted to go. So I first started with ChatGPT and kind of general Google, and I got kind of the high level differences between some of the different options down here. But where I really did my research, where it crystallized, was with Reddit, because Reddit, you get a lot of very, very concrete, tangible feedback, both good and bad, about all the different places. And the reason why I selected Soltara was it had the kind of the best combination of the two things that were important to me. One is comfort and accommodations. I wanted it to be nice. I didn't want to be in tent in the middle of the jungle. And there was a few places that had that element of it. What some of them lacked was the element of really the authenticity of the ceremony and the medicine, and making sure that that part of the experience is above the rest of the experience. Because if you're just coming down here for comfort and you're not getting the experience that you're looking for, then you might not as well come. And so to me, Reddit crystallized that Soltara had those two elements, and it was really important that I come here. In order to describe my experience this week, I will have to start by saying it's very difficult to describe. It's surreal, and it's still settling in. I will say that it started with introductions to an amazing, eclectic group of people from all over the world, with all different stories and all different types of healing that they were looking for, and sharing their stories, sharing my own stories with them, and really kind of being able to give and receive love in kind of in the space was one of the parts of the experience that I was thrilled about, but really didn't know. I thought it would be much more of an individualistic experience, and what it turns out is a very collective experience with a very genuine individual experience, embedded in there. As far as that individual experience goes, again, it's very hard to describe. I didn't know what to expect. I had some ideas, and those ideas were wrong. But what I can tell you is that surprised me is that the ayahuasca, the medicine, has such an intelligence to it, and is able to really feel out and fulfill the needs of very different people, in very different ways. And so for me, there was good moments, there was tough moments, there was overwhelming moments, but in every instance, it was giving me exactly what I needed. And I'm grateful to the medicine, and I'm grateful to the staff for keeping me together and keeping this group together through, some fairly intense experiences. I'd say my biggest takeaway, and I came down very open, and I'm a spiritual person and believe in the spiritual realm. But the biggest takeaway is how tangible the experience with the medicine is. It doesn't leave any doubt about the connection with the spiritual realm. It doesn't leave any doubt about the ability to connect between mind and body. And it doesn't leave any doubt about the ability to guide and really fulfill from the inside, your own experience and your own needs. I'm hoping that experience continues once I leave here, but for now, it's really powerful. Again, coming here on the first day and being excited, but not really knowing what was going to happen. And I remember even saying to some people, like, this is such a cool part of the journey, because you don't know what to expect, but it's very close and around the corner. And then now, where it's very close, but in the rearview mirror, again, it's still a very, kind of raw and exciting part of the process. On day one, I was excited about, the potential for the future and the potential for breakthroughs. And now I'm more, gracious for the things that have occurred now that, I've experienced them and can kind of crystallize in my head on some level what it all means. But from a personal standpoint, particularly if you judge what it was like, a week or 2 weeks before I came here, I was stressed. I carried all my fears on my shoulder, and I didn't really feel like I had a means of lightening the load. And I was excited about the opportunity to try to do that, but a little skeptical at the same time as to whether it would actually make kind of the progress that I was hoping for. And, now I've made that progress, and now it's really comes down to being able to carry it forward and make sure that these lessons that I've learned over the last few days carry with me. The Icaro was a very unique, special part of the experience. I don't know quite how to describe it, and I know that other people in the group had even more profound experiences than my own. For me, particularly on the third night when I was kind of grappling with some very heavy internal things, the Icaro kind of gave me the power to breathe and fight through it. On other night, it was just kind of the cherry on the cake in from the experiential standpoint, where it just kind of accented my night. But I know that some others, had really profound experiences where, their bodies and mind opened up and a flow of information came to and from that I believe, again, it didn't necessarily happen to me, but I could certainly see where if I come back and do it again, that it might. The Maestros were beautiful. It's really, again, hard to describe the sounds, the feelings, the love that comes from them, but they're very talented, special people that have a magic and magnetic way of giving and receiving energy and taking the plant experience and helping to shape it individually for a bunch of different people, again, with very different backgrounds and different needs, and to shape it individually for them to make sure that the plant medicine is delivering what it's capable of. The food was surprisingly good. I've never been on a very veggie heavy diet. I've always liked a different, kind of heavier cuisine, but the stuff that they've prepared has really been amazing. And, for breakfast, lunch, and even the dinners. And it's nice to, again, kind of establish a pattern with a certain amount of healthy food. That's another thing that I'm hoping that I can continue in my journey when I go back. Maybe not quite as vegetable heavy, but the food was amazing. The cooks are amazing, and it's nice when they come out and explain what you're eating, and that it was prepared with love. I would recommend Soltara to anybody that I know or don't know. And I do have several friends that have expressed interest. They were not ready, kind of spiritually or mentally to come down here.